Hello friends! Today we are going to be doing the Cozy Autumn book tag and talking about some of my recent reads. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I saw Murphy Nafier do this tag a few days ago and I was like, okay, this is a great idea because I love talking about like cozy fall stuff because fall is like my favorite season ever. So yeah, I definitely want to do this tag and then I will try to find the original creator of the tag as well and I'll link that below. So I'll link both videos below. Tag is basically just consisting of a bunch of like fall bookish questions and I cannot wait to talk about them. And then at the end I'll also do some recent reads stuff. So just talking about some books that I have recently read. It's gonna be super fun. Make sure to leave a like as always. I know my videos have been getting a lot less likes recently, so just, you know, pummel that like button. Let's do this. And subscribe to my channel down below for more bookish content. Number 1, what book always reminds you of fall/autumn? And that book for me is going to have to be Redwall by Brian Jacques. Just even like looking at the cover, it's like super fall-y. Like let me see if I can autofocus that. Like look at that, it's super cute. And just like the way it's taking place, like in this kind of like these woods of the Mossflower Woods, and then in this abbey where all these woodland creatures are, and they're kind of just like living together in peace. Like everything just screams fall to me, especially like all the feasts that they have in this like place that they're living. And even though there's a lot of like problems and conflicts, just like basically when they are at peace, I just feel like this is kind of like just a super cozy fall read. And especially like just with the plot, like it's just so good to like be able to like kind of like curl up in a bed and just kind of like read this series. The way that the plot runs is just kind of like fall, because I feel like in fall I tend to read a little bit slower reads, because in the summer I was more like fast paced, trying to just get through a lot of books. But with this I feel like it took me a little bit longer. Like it's just more of like a, you know, you're just really in for the long haul. And so that's a really good book for autumn if you guys need a recommendation. And then also I want to try to get to this book. I don't know if this is a future question in the tag, but like Crescent City, look how fall-y it looks and it kind of sounds a little bit fallish. So I don't know, I'm excited to read that later. Question 2, what is your favorite autumnal book cover? Oh, okay. Well, these two were very autumnal book covers because look at this. Like just look at the leaves and the moon and the bird and the reds and like, yeah, like it really matches fall for me. And then this one also matches fall for me, just like with the browns and the reds and like kind of like that little top thing with all like the squigglies and the design. Like I don't know, those are just some autumnal book-ish things. Yeah. What is your favorite autumnal drink to read with? My favorite autumnal drink to read with is probably either tea, which I don't know if that's not really that autumnal, but I find myself just like drinking more tea during the fall, kind of just because it's cozy. And then second, it has to be hot chocolate. Like I know that's a winter thing, but that's totally my fall thing because I think hot chocolate is just so good. I don't know why. It's just like chocolate in a drink. You know, it just makes sense. Like it's automatically going to be a favorite. And you know, tea is obviously just automatically a good one. I always like to do like reading vlogs in the fall with like my tea, and like I like to, you know, have some a piping hot stirring tea thing. And yeah, hot chocolate, and I'll probably get more of that soon. So yeah, I like that. And I also love my sparkling waters. Do you prefer to read late at night or early in the morning? I prefer to read late at night. As of recently, I feel like I've been just kind of finding more time to read at night. And like what I'll do is, I talked about this in another video too, is like I will stop doing homework or like booktube videos. Like I'll set a time I have to be reading at like 9:30 at night. So like I'll just stop whatever I'm doing, like I'll stop getting my phone, and that's like my reading time. Like that's my designated reading time, and then I'll read kind of however long it needs to be. And like sometimes it goes to late at night, or sometimes I'll fall asleep at like 10. But I feel like just like kind of like reading while no one else really in my house is asleep is just kind of fun. I don't know why. Or I used to read a lot early in the morning, like when I was in middle school, but now I feel like I'm doing more late night, which is a little bit more harmful to like my sleep and to like my balance. But I don't know, I just feel like I kind of switched during quarantine. Like I went from an early bird to a night owl, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know, I just think it's so cool sometimes just like, you know, have like a nice cup of tea or whatever, like at late night with some candles, reading. I don't know, it's just such a cozy kind of autumn vibe. Like I feel like maybe in the summer or the spring that's more of like a early morning kind of thing. Number 5, Halloween is coming. What is your favorite spooky read? My favorite spooky read is The Witches by Roald Dahl, and I'll talk about like a slightly another spooky read later in this video as my current read. But this is not that spooky, but still it's just kind of fun. It's basically, it takes place with these witches who are like these really terrible creatures who, you know, look a lot different than us, have like these weird like physical attributes that like kind of make them different, like blue tongues and like different, yeah, like different features basically. And they are like kind of basically hunting down kids to kill them, and it's like it's really played in like a light tone. tone, so it's not really scary at all, but it just has a kind of spooky vibe to it, and I love it, and I cannot wait to read this Halloween around that time. I don't know when I'm gonna read it. I don't want to say anything about like spoiling it, but basically like there is this grand witch trial, or like this grand witch meeting every year, and basically this two characters, this grandmom and her grandson, they go to this hotel and they find out that the grand witch meeting is there, and they have to kind of defeat the witches. It's just like a funny, clever, witty book, but also has a little bit of spook. So yeah, I don't like a lot of spook, so just a little bit of spook, you know? What is the ultimate comfort read for me? Okay, this is a good question. I'm gonna have to go with this whole shelf right here, my Sarah J. Maas shelf, and I'm going to be reading this fall. I really hope to, at least. Like, I want to read Throne of Glass and Akatar, at least, like, the fall and winter. Like, I need to be finishing these books, like, before 2021, because it's 2020 right now. So, yeah. Yeah, I just feel like these are comfort books for me, because every single one is so good. And, I mean, it's not, like, comfortable. Like, it's not, like, a book that's gonna be, like, oh, warm and snuggly and whatever. If you want to get a comfort read, I would say, like, Keeper of Lost Cities, but, like, a good fall read that, like, I can just obsess over and know that I'm going to love and just like still be shocked every single time and just like, you know, love it even more every single time, it's going to be these books like the Throne of Glass series, following this one main character who you get really attached to as you kind of, she breaks down her barriers of her past and she starts to let the secrets kind of her family and her history kind of like take over her. Okay, I just cannot wait. Like, I am thinking about these series and I just cannot wait to get back into both of them. Like, I don't know, I'm so excited. I need to really hurry up with my reading so I can get back to Throne of Glass and Sarah J. Maas. And I'm probably going to talk about this later, but I want to read Crescent City, like, after I finish my current read, Brizinger. Like, I need to just get back into Sarah J. Maas. Like, it's been such a while since I've read her work, and I'm kind of, like, deprived. Like, I'm getting, like, anxiety of not reading her work. What is your favorite autumnal reading snack? Okay, I don't really have an autumnal reading snack. I love, like, eating chips, wheat thin crackers. Those are nice. I don't really have any, like, just autumnal snacks. Like, I don't really know what that means, but yeah, I just like chips, crackers. That's kind of it. What is your favorite autumnal candle to burn whilst reading? I don't have a candle to burn, so that's assuming a lot from me. LOL. When you are not reading, what is your favorite autumnal activity? Okay, I love going outside. That's just like my favorite autumnal reading activity. Like, as of right now, I've been loving going outside, listening to my audiobook, which technically that's reading, but like, is that reading? Like, because I like to go outside to listen to my audiobook. I don't know, I think it's separate. Like, I'm going outside to be outside as well. I don't know, I just feel like I like going outside. That's it. I also love making these videos. It's really cozy, especially in the fall. I love making videos. Like, I don't know why. It just, like, my spirit gets really high about making videos in the fall. And I just love, you know, having, like, a little tea and just, like, you know, editing videos. It's so cozy. And then, what's else? I guess, like, watching a show or a TV show or something. I don't know. What is on your autumn/fall reading list? Okay, so I can go through a little bit of it. I have a full video. If you guys want to check that out, I'll leave it up there. It's my October TBR, which I literally just went through all the books that I'm going through in October, and I didn't really explain more. Like, I don't really like to do a seasonal TBRs. I like to do monthly TBRs, so I don't have any like specific fall reads, but this is definitely one. Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I talked about this before. It's a great cover, but I really want to read the story to it. Got The Witches. I'm going to be reading Keeper of Lost Cities series again in the autumn, just because the new book is coming out. The Fablehaven series, I'm going to be reading that. I think we also might be doing the Land of Stories series, and we are going to be doing Six of Crows, Leigh Bardugo books, and maybe Shadowhunters as well, because I know that the Infernal Devices books are, like, amazing. They're, like, London and, like, spooky mystery. They're kind of fall. I also might get into more mystery books too, like murder mystery or just mystery in general, because I enjoy those in the fall as well. So that concludes the autumn book tag. So now we are going to just kind of delve into some of my We're gonna dive into some of my recent reads, which I have been reading like 7 books so far. Like, I haven't finished all those 7 books, but I've started 7 books this month. And so we're gonna talk about all those. First, I want to talk about Brizinger by Christopher Polini, and this is the 3rd book in the Inheritance cycle, and let's just say that this is taking me a long time to read. What is it? It's now October 11th, and I'm only 350 pages in. 350 pages in, and this book is 750 pages, and I'm still still not done with it. I even started it before October, so not just 11 days. This book, one book, might take me the whole month because it's just so long. Like, thick books really get me into reading slumps, so I need to stop doing that to myself. But like, it's 750 pages long, which is already long, and then the text is literally so small. It takes me like 1 minute to read each page. So if we calculated that, it would take me an hour to read just 60 pages. It would take me 10 hours to read 600 pages, and I don't have that time. But okay, I will say that my school is starting to really get more breaks. Like, I feel like in September I got 0 breaks whatsoever. I feel like every single week I was getting 5 days a week online. It was just a lot. But now every single week, if there is no break, we're getting an asynchronous day, which means that we have a lot significant, we don't have any live classes because my school is online. And so what we're doing is we're gonna have 20 to 30 minutes of work, which is like very small. Per class, 20 to 30 minutes is like maybe an hour 20 to 2 hours of work, which is just amazing. So I can't wait to see how much work it actually ends up being, because I know my teachers can be like a little bit tough. Yeah, we're just gonna have some days where we're literally just not doing a lot of work and no live classes. And so yeah, we're just having a lot of breaks. And then also we just have more breaks this month for some reason. We just had none in September. But yeah, anyways, I hope to get some reading done with those breaks, is kind of what I meant to say. But I will say I am enjoying this book. I mean, it is long, it's very detailed, and I feel like I don't talk about this enough with like talking about Aragon, but like these books are very, very long. Like, you need to understand that. If I know like a lot of people like think this is like fun or whatever, this is not like a fun book. It's really detailed and long, but I'm obsessed. Like, it's not something that's gonna be like Keeper Lost Cities or like Unwanted. It's not middle grades. It's like really deep, and there's a lot of like gore. There's, you know, it's like, it's not like just a fun book, and that's what I'm saying. But I'm still obsessed with it, and I feel like it's just so rich and detailed, and I like that, but it does tend to just be very long. Like, I feel like maybe if we just split up the books even more, or maybe instead of having a 4-book series, we had a 3-book series and just condensed it a little bit, because it is very long. But just knowing all the details really helps me understand the story, and that's why I feel like I can have such a good visual picture in my head of the story. And just like in general, I don't like comprehend books as probably as good as everyone else, so just having a lot of extra details really helps me to understand it. And just a lot of new things are popping up in this book, because I basically from the 3rd and the 4th book, I forgot everything about them. So all this stuff is basically new to me. And so it's really interesting to kind of relive these events and be like, oh, I remember this happened. And just something happened in the last chapter that I'm just like living for. Like, it's like this new twist that kind of got introduced, and it's like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And so they're gonna have to solve this almost little side mystery, and just kind of, it's a new obstacle for the troops. And just kind of like seeing, you know, Eragon and Saphira's relationship in this book is really great, and I just cannot wait to finish this book. But as soon as I finish this book, I'm not going on to the 4th book. I'm going to go on to Crescent City, and I'm gonna make my reading vlog, because I want to make a Crescent City reading vlog. I don't know how long it has to take, because it's tearing me apart. But yeah, and then I'll read that, and then I'll get into the 4th book. But honestly, I don't know. I have positive thoughts about this book. I also have negative thoughts about this book. But I'm just gonna keep reading. I'll tell you all what I think in my wrap up. But that's my thoughts as of now. But the next book that I'm reading like right now is an audiobook, and that is The Girl Who Drank the Moon by, I don't know who it is, but I'll pop it up on the screen so you guys can see the author. This is like a particularly like spooky fall book that I purposely picked out, and I actually picked this out for the Hocus Pocus readathon. Well, it's the group book for the team that I'm on. Like, I'm on the team it's either the team Trick-or-Treaters or Team Undead. I don't know. I'll have to look on the spreadsheet. But yeah, I'm participating in that readathon, and I'm reading The Witches, and I'm reading the book that's on screen, The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which is the group book. It's about this world where there are like this town, and then there's like this bog, this swamp, where there lives a witch and a dragon and a swamp monster. And what ends up happening is every single year, the village has one kid, and they sacrifice that kid to the witch, because they think that the witch is this really like terrible person, that if they don't send like a baby to that witch, then, you know, she's going to kill them or kill the village or like wreak havoc on the village. One year, the baby, that kind of what ends up happening is like this woman is very like really hesitant to give up her child, like she's fighting, and they basically imprison her for being mad. And then that child gets sent down, and, you know, gets left in the woods for the witch to take her and kill her or whatever they think that she's going to do. But what ends up happening is the witch is actually a really nice person. Like, she's like a good character. She's basically the good character in the story, and she actually doesn't know why the people are just leaving babies, you know, outside of her doorstep. Like, she thinks they're the villains. And so she takes the kids every year, and she gives them to a nearby village on the other side of the forest. And what ends up happening is this one year, this girl who has like these really like moon colored eyes or whatever, she basically drinks the moon. Like, she is in this clearing, she goes to this pond, and while the moon is reflecting on the lake, you know, she drinks it, and then she gets magical powers. And so we're immediately launched, you know, like a decade later, when she turns 13. The witch is depleting her powers to protect Luna, which is the girl that we're following who drank the moon. And then all this weird currents happening. The mad woman that is the mother of Luna starts to kind of get some like hope back, and she starts to regain memory of her daughter. And then we also have a tension with someone trying to hunt down the witch, because, you know, he thinks that his child is at risk. So there's just a lot of stuff going on in this book, and it's really good. There's a lot of like magical elements, spooky elements, like with the swamp and the witch and the dragon, and like just a lot of fun too. Like, I've had a lot of fun following the story, and I haven't had a lot of time to read this book in the last like 3 days, so I really want to, you know, get back to the book. But so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm excited to see where it goes and like what ends up happening, because there's just a lot of magic and curses and a lot of perspectives going on. I really enjoy this book. I definitely recommend you guys pick it out if you haven't, because it's definitely like a good like fall, it's not really spooky at all. It's just like has spooky vibes, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not gonna read a book that's spooky, but like it has spooky vibes. So yeah, definitely read this book. It's super good. All right, the next latest book that I read, I'm going by like latest to oldest, by the way, is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, I'm pretty sure. And this was an amazing story. Another favorite of the month. It's probably gonna end up getting 5 stars for me, because I don't know, I just loved it. First of all, we had queer representation and black representation with the main character, and it was just great. So the story itself was also good too. Basically, it's about this girl named Lizzie or Liz, I can't remember. I'm so bad at memorizing things, so it really helps me to do these recent reads videos so I don't have to like go back all the time or whatever when I'm doing my wrap-ups. But she is in high school, and she ends up getting rejected for this scholarship that she really needed, because she was kind of in trouble with like financial aid and like finding money for her college that she was applying to. And so what ends up happening is she kind of is the person that's like, you know, in band, she's kind of like awkward, she's shy. She actually has to run for prom queen, because the prom queen prize for, you know, becoming prom queen is $10,000, and that will be enough to cover the scholarship that she did not get. And so she's immediately launched into this whole new world that she has never thought before of like popularity, and like it's basically like a classic Disney movie. Like, the unpopular girl, you know, is like going into this new world trying to become popular, you know, like just stuff like that. But it also has a lot of like deeper meaning. Like, it's not like a middle grade like fun, you know, story. It has a lot of like deeper tones, like just like with sexuality and like even race and stuff. Like, there's a lot of good, you know, topics in here, and I just loved it so much. So it's like seeing the ending and just seeing like Liz's like relationship with her love interest. Like, it was so good. The romance was really great, and I loved it so freaking much. And just like the story in general, the characters, there was funny times, there were emotional times, there was a lot, you know, that you could relate to, and just like I loved it so much. Like, you should totally check out this book. The previous book that I read was The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and this was a great book. I've talked about it a lot, so I'm not going to talk about it too long, but this is basically about this girl named Star who is at a party one day. She's driving back home with her childhood best friend that she reunites with at the party. She hasn't talked to him in a while. She gets stopped by the police, and basically innocent Khalil gets shot by the police, and it totally is like a terrorizing scene. It just like shocks Star so much that her best friend or childhood best friend has been shot, and so she has to kind of deal with her grief, and then she has to like use platforms of like social media, or not like social media, but she has to use her voice. She has to like stand up for Khalil and just like get justice for him, because there's a lot of like protests going around with police brutality, and it kind of, we draw a lot of like connections to the whole like George Floyd and Black Lives Matter movement that's going on, and just like all the racial injustice going on in the world. I think this was such a great and important and empowering book that you guys should definitely read if you have not already. Like, it's so important that you guys read it. The topics were so well developed and like thoroughly explored, and just explored in the perfect way. Like, I just love this book so much. Just like the characters were so expertly crafted. The plot was something that I genuinely loved, and just like it blew me away. Just the way that she was able to weave these arcs, these dips, and these like valleys and these like hills. Like, I just don't know how she did it. Like, she would like bring us up to a high. We would be like, oh my gosh, this is such a sweet moment, like crying tears of joy, like yes, and then it just takes a sharp steep curve downwards, and you know, just like I don't know, I just thought this was such a great story, great plot, great characters, great everything. Definitely check it out if you have not already. All right, I think we got 2 more books to get through, and I'll just kind of try to do this quick because I kind of already talked about both of these in other videos. But we've got Call Me by Your Name by like Andre Osterman or something. I kind of forgot who the author was, was. But this was a 3.5 star book. I really hate rating it 3.5 stars because it was a really good like LGBTQ plus romance, but like the ending just flopped so hard. Not even, it was not just the ending, it was the second half of the book. Like seriously, take my heat on this. I don't even probably recommend you guys read this because like it's just not worth it to read half of the book and then just be disappointed by the ending. Like that was just exactly what happened to me. Like I was hyped up. I was like, yes, this is great. Like this is a great story. Oh my gosh, where's it gonna go? And then we go to this one trip or whatever to Italy, and then it's just like talking about poems and like it has nothing to do with the story, and I just didn't understand. And then I just started going into too much literature and like scholarly, intellectual philosophy and all that stuff, and it just like made me so confused because like this was intended to be a romance. Like that's kind of what I signed up for. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know why I'm getting so worked up about it, but like the beginning, I'll say the beginning was really great. The characters were really great. The romance was really great. There's a lot of like romantical tension between the two boys, and just in general, I feel like the plot was pretty good with a lot of ups and downs and just like questioning within the plot. Like I don't know if that makes sense. Just like there's just a lot of like questions and like conspicuousness and suspiciousness. I don't know, I just felt like it really majorly flopped, and that's why I probably if you ask me like should I read it or not, I would probably say no, which makes me sad. So yeah. And the last book that I read, or like the first book that I read this month, was The Burning Bridge by John Flanagan. I also talked about this, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much, or I'll just talk about like new things. This is the second book in the Ranger's Apprentice series, which I'm trying to get through, and if I even do like one book per month, that'll still take me like I need to kind of hurry up with my reading because I've been in a lull recently just with being so busy. But like in general, I think this was a great book. It was very unique actually. It was basically like a lot of traveling. Like in the first book, I felt like we were kind of staying places. We were kind of just like staying and like learning about rangers and like becoming apprentice, you know, all that kind of stuff was like about learning, which I like. I actually really like books where you're kind of learning stuff. Like I could in Eldest, which is the second book in the inheritance cycle, it's the red book, the whole entirety of it was just like learning. We went to the elven city and we were just learning from the elves. I loved that. I thought it was great. Like we had an apprentice and stuff. So I liked the first book, but the second book was even cooler because we were able to travel across the world and like solve this mystery, because like in each place that they found, like there was like some odd thing about it and they had to kind of put the pieces together, which I really enjoyed doing. I love that aspect to it. Although some parts were a little bit less entertaining, I feel like overall I was very intrigued. I was very interested, and it took me a little bit while to get into, but when I kind of just zoomed through it. I feel like the ending was really good, like the second half of the ending, or not the second half, but just the second half in general. And then the ending itself was really, really good, like the very ending. Like it makes me so excited to read the third book, and I think that'll be like my next one to read, the third book of the Ranger's Apprentice series, after I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon. So yeah, that's all my recent reads. As I have been kind of showing you guys, I've been reading a lot of audiobooks recently because Brazinger is taking me so long. Like my physical side of my books is like really slow, but my audiobook side is like doing really great right now. And so I think we're already at like 5 books that are completed this month, which is great, because if I can just get to 10 books, like that's great. Like that's amazing. So yeah, I had a really fun time with this video. Let's jump into an outro. Alright, so thank you all so much for watching. I had a really great time making this video, filming this video. I'm gonna not have a lot of fun editing it, but that's just because it's long. So yeah, if you guys liked it, make sure to leave a like. I really appreciate your likes, and they like actually, you know, really do help, so definitely do that. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. Like, we're almost getting monetized. I know you guys have been asking me for like updates on watch hours, and when you guys should be seeing this, I should be at or very close to 3,150 hours, which means we have 850 hours away. Definitely keep watching my videos and, you know, watching some of my older videos, because I do have some really great videos that I used to do. Like, if you just look back at the older videos on my channel, I used to spend so much time on them, and like I was so passionate about it. Make sure to leave a comment down below. What did you think of this video? Do you kind of like how I combined a tag and some recent reads, because I got a lot of videos to film, and so I just combining videos has been helping me recently. What are you guys recently reading or currently reading? Definitely let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll leave the last video up there if you want to help me get some more watch hours, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you guys so freaking much. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you guys have a great reading week. Alright, bye guys, see ya. Oh, that didn't work. She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something bad.